Do you think finance at its heart is dehumanizing, that it strips out the human element? We talk about people swimming in shit-filled rivers. We talk about slavery, all in the search of profit.
Yeah, for sure it is. I mean, there's so many examples. I mean, the credit crisis, of course, is a fine example of these kind of things being transformed into kind of wonderful zany products with fancy acronyms and so forth. But actually, to start with, they're wages on the ability of people to pay for mortgages that they fundamentally couldn't afford. And you know, the book is full of these examples. It's laced into our kind of colonial heritage and so forth. So I think that is it's in its DNA, you know, and it doesn't mean that finance is always already necessarily awful, but it's there, you know, and we need to be careful about it.
Can it be better?
Well, I would hope so. Yeah.
How would you? I mean,
fix it for us,
right now.
Fix it right now.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing. I think it would be nice if finance financed things. I think that's the short answer. I mean, you know, we're in an age of crisis, and it would be good if we saw some traffic going the other way. Large
scale infrastructure projects in the UK need funding. Even just, I mean, I say at every episode, I have bad internet. Like I have copper wire internet, and then like Openreach are like, oh, it'll be 3 years before we install it or whatever, or 2 years. Like, so you think these kind of projects that could improve the productivity of the UK, say, which we desperately need, don't we? How would you do that? Would that be through taxation, or would that be through loans, or? Well,
this is the other thing, and I think this is where it spills into a more political discussion, because the other thing that's been normalized, along with, you know, finance being this kind of neutral thing, zone, what have you, is this idea that all of these kind of activities are better off done by private enterprise and commercial, you know, kind of commercial concerns that are therefore somehow tied to the stock exchange. And maybe it's not, you know, maybe actually infrastructure provision is too important to be left to private interests.
But if these like big trading floors and like investment houses and banks, they were making loads of money, shouldn't they, like you said, flow the other way? Shouldn't they like say, okay, let's invest a bit in renewable energy. Let's just build one wind turbine for our company. Like each company or each entity does something good for the country. Well, because you're saying there's a social human aspect to finance. Shouldn't someone just be like, okay, look, we've made like 20 billion last year. Let's build a wind turbine.
Well, I mean, I suspect, you know, bankers are still people, and they still have kids, and, you know, they're still concerned about things, a lot of people, and they are, you know, people are interested in new and different ways of doing things. And I think that involves shaking off some of the sort of intellectual and regulatory constraints that we talked about earlier, because these people are not necessarily free in terms of their, you know, their occupational requirements to do the things that they might like to as kind of concerned citizens. But sorry, you said something else, T, there. There was a second question.
The structure of corporations itself is for the benefit of the shareholder. And if you follow that path, you always lead to them keeping the money and making more money.
Yeah, but we're always talking about things like, oh, all these ESG funds, and we care about
the money.
But shouldn't they just say, okay, forget all these funds, we've made loads of money, let's do something nice for the country? Like,
it's there are humans. Noble thing. I mean, you made some money, give it away, mate. Like,
I haven't made enough yet.
Well, they probably
I don't have a house in Mayfair yet.
Probably say the same thing.
But you know, this is a political thing, isn't it? And actually, that's exactly what the super rich says. They say, look at our foundation. You know, look at all the good things that we're doing. Don't regulate us. You know, don't take our money away because we're using it to build some windmills.
Trickle down economics.
Something like that. These are at their heart political questions, and this whole thing that goes from, you know, kind of what's the, you know, the idea that markets are efficient and the best way of allocating capital, and how we calculate risk, and, you know, price options, and this whole kind of intellectual project takes us takes us to a place where we say, okay, these people are super wealthy because they're shareholders in tech firms or what have you, then let them do good things, and maybe we have to rethink that. Maybe we have to rethink something fundamental about the way we organise our polity, I guess. And that then isn't a finance problem. That's like a democratic problem or an intellectual problem.
I'm a really big fan of these conversations where we dive into finance history. I find it fascinating. If you do too, then you can watch the full interview with Philip Roscoe here.